What's up, y'all? Coming at you today with the first video back after the whole sickness. If you haven't seen that video, go check that out. So happy to be back with you and to bring you all another little word. So before I get into this, I have to set the the framework. I'm a young adults leader at my church, and we're about to start up this last season of 2022 for community groups, and young adults is a community group, and I'm a leader for it. We're about to actually get into a series where we're going through the whole Sermon on the Mount, and if you know anything about me, you know I love the Sermon on the Mount. So we're gonna start off with the Beatitudes, and so I figured since we're gonna start off talking about that, I felt like it was best for me to do a devotional, kind of going back over the Beatitudes and kind of digging a little deeper. And so today is only day 2 of my devotional. And so today is, you guessed it, the second of the Beatitudes. And I just wanted to kind of shed some light on it and talk to y'all about that for a little bit. The Beatitudes are found at the beginning of Matthew chapter 5. The second one is found in verse 4. It says, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted." The devotional was talking about how that sounds like counterintuitive, because it's like, hold up, how can I be blessed if I'm in mourning? Because mourning is an emotion of pain, hurt, confusion, frustration, usually a feeling of loss, like you lost something or someone. Like, mourning is not in and of itself, it's not a place that people feel blessed in. So for Jesus to say, "Blessed are those who mourn," it's kind of counterintuitive, but until you read that second half of that line, it says, "For they will be comforted." Their blessing is comfort. And it's no coincidence that Jesus is saying this, because he's the Prince of Peace, right? He is a comforter. He is that comfort that you get if you are mourning. Because if you're mourning, if you're hurt, if you're wearied, if you're going through a trial, if you're being troubled by something or someone or whatever, going to Jesus and giving whatever that thing that is negative towards you or negative in your life or hurtful or something that causes you to mourn, giving that to Jesus, the only thing that you can really get back from him is a sense of comfort, which brings about a sense of peace and even in some cases some joy. And it's really just because it gives you peace on the inside. It gives you a peace deeper down that maybe somebody else can't really give you. Now, sometimes Jesus can use other people around you that'll point you back to him, that'll bring you that comfort that you need. But ultimately, Christ suffered just about everything that a human can suffer. So he understands, number one, where you're coming from in terms of your mourning. He gets it. And for him, it's just, he can relate to you on whatever it is that you're mourning about. And he can offer you a certain peace and a certain comfort, because his whole thing is that it will be better and that he is with you. He comforts those who are mourning. Those are the people who are going through the most, the people who are hurting the most, the people who need the most amount of help or attention. Those are the people that Jesus really wants to pour into. And those are the people that he always attracted to himself. And it wasn't done like that's not coincidence. That's done on purpose by Christ. He comes for those who are disenfranchised, those who are viewed as less than, those who don't get the attention that they deserve. You can get that, whatever it is that you're missing from other people in other relationships or whatever, whether it be attention, you need comfort, you need peace, you need people to understand you and hear where you're coming from, you need understanding about a certain thing, or whatever the case might be. Jesus is the one who can give you that. And so that's where that comfort really comes in when you're mourning, because Jesus gives you so much love, and he reminds you, hey, look, I'm not done with you. I still love you. I still have a plan and purpose for you. I like how they said it in here. It was like, perhaps when we mourn, we experience the presence of God in new ways we never would have wanted or imagined, but need in our moments of grief. And then he references Psalm 34:18, talking about how that reminds us that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted, because he even says that he is in that verse. And then it goes on to say, in fact, throughout scripture, we see that more often than not, God's response to our troubles is not a solution, but it's his presence. And a lot of times we don't immediately want a solution to the problem in our life. Sometimes we genuinely just want somebody to hear us out, or somebody to sympathize or empathize with our pain, and you really understand where we're coming from and what we're feeling. And that's what Jesus offers, and that's what helps bring us comfort. And then another thing that this devotional goes on to say, and this will be my last point, is that sometimes God will use people around you, who sometimes will use the church to help you. Because a lot of times in the church, you'll find a lot of people with tragic stories, people who have gone through really tough times, and that's why they turn to church. That's why they're so active in serving in the church. And it's simply just because the church is meant to be, I always look at church like this, is the church is a hospital for your soul and for your spirit. Like, we go to the hospital, like a regular hospital for our bodies, and sometimes like a psych ward or whatever. Like, sometimes you go to a hospital or like a shrink or something for your mind, but for your soul and your spirit, you got to go to the church for that, because The church is supposed to be an open invitation for anybody to worship God, serve God, and live for God, and give their lives to Him, and to do so in fellowship and in community with people. And so don't be discouraged by a few bad eggs that may do something that pushes you away from the church. Maybe just find a new church, or find other people in the church to talk to about a certain topic. Find people who know what you're going through because they've experienced it themselves, or they can sympathize with you in a certain way. And sometimes people in the church are just there to bless you without even knowing your situation. That happens sometimes too. If you are in mourning, or you know somebody who is, mourn with them and help them turn to God, and understand that God is going to be the one to bring the comfort. That's my message for you guys today. I'm so happy to be back. If you could, go ahead and like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. It really does help the channel. I love you. Peace.